My name's Jerry Giuliano Sr. I've been in the industry for over 44 years now. It's amazing, and one of the really important things in this industry is doctor-lab communication. We're in this together. You're the doctor, you're the clinician, you're the one giving the lab what they need to give a restoration that's for you and for your patient. What we're going to be talking about today is impressions.
The impression is the foundation of the house, basically. The impression is good, and we get it in the model department. We can pour up a good model out of these impressions.
Either it be a shoulder, a chamfer, a knife edge, whatever type of prep you give, doesn't matter. All we need is full retraction around the prep that's given to us. It's the margins that are the most important thing. The doctor has to find what works best for them to pull that tissue away from the tooth so that when they take the impression, it gathers. A pull can be from when the impression is placed in the mouth and it slightly moves. Another thing that could cause a pull, the impression is pulled prematurely.
If it runs through the margin, it'll be just a smear. So when I pour that in stone, there will be no definition there, and I cannot truly trim that die to accuracy. The margin comes down to being the most important part.
It creates a distortion, and a lot of times that pull will actually take away the actual margin. So once that impression is placed in the mouth, it has to be steady and not move. So a lot of times the doctor will take an impression. They take it out of the mouth and they look at it and they actually physically see a distortion. They see it, there's a bubble, there's a pull, there's something missing. And they take light body impression material, they inject it back into that impression and place it back into the mouth. It sets, you pull it out and it compresses. It looks absolutely perfect, but it's not gonna fit.
The compression also, of course, that's gonna change the shape of our model as opposed to what is in the mouth. So a lot of times too, when they do that, that second layer that they try to use to fix their problem will create a problem, because a lot of times that won't stick in the impression.
If the tooth is retracted and the impression is taken, the lab doesn't even really have to even trim the die. It's fully visible. We need to see the final stop of where we're putting our restoration, and that is a margin. Even with scanning, you have to retract the tissue. Our lab specifically has seeked out through the years the finest and most accurate 3D printing machinery available to the industry. You got to realize, if you're going to prep a tooth, let's say for instance you're going to be prepping number 30. Say your impression material only has half of that number 29. Say there is no posterior tooth to that number 30 and you only give us a number 29. Well, how on earth could we ever possibly get that vertical setting perfect, even with your bite? There's movement.
To be able to make sure we have the occlusion and the bite right, they should take full mouth impression. The full arch, both upper, lower. We get the bite, we know it's right, it's solid. Therefore, we can be confident in making that bridge and not having a problem with it.
If you give us enough teeth, 9 out of 10 times the lab technician can physically hand mount a case.
The better we can get the bite, the better we can make the product, and the doctor will be happy.
A good impression is one that we can physically pick up, visually look inside there and see that there is tissue management, tissue pushed away from that prep so that we can see the margin. So you should be able to look in that impression and turn it completely around in all angles and see the bottom of your prep in that impression. It's consistency. The main goal is to be consistent with steps and procedures from start to finish.
Visit vitalitydentalarts.com.